Keith, hey, congratulations for being here at the TCM Film Festival. Obviously, you are happy to be here. You're donning the hat.
Delighted, yes. Yeah, no, I am a huge supporter, fan of TCM. We've worked together on stuff. They actually gave me a weekend a few years back where Ben and I sat down and I had brought in 4 films to show over the weekend. That was a couple of years ago now. I just love what they do, and I love what they stand for, and I love the fact that they are absolutely dedicated to preserving the idea of film, not just the films themselves, but the idea of it, the way films should be seen. And I know everybody stays home now, and people are talking about, no, cinema's over. No, it isn't. There's a generation coming up now that's hungry for this, and hungry for the communal experience of being in a theater and watching a movie together. We just have to give them stuff that'll make them want to be there. And there are young filmmakers that are coming up now that I think are doing that. So, you know, the legacy that TCM preserves is an inspiration for the new, and it's synergistic.
Well said, and you know, you kind of have a big weekend. You presented what, two films?
Presenting 2 films. I'll be presenting HUD tonight at 10 o'clock, and then Gunman's Walk on Saturday.
Both westerns.
Both westerns.
So let's talk about HUD first. Tell us about this film HUD and why it should resonate with audiences.
Well, you know, it was kind of the beginning of the anti-hero as a protagonist. And the idea of the revisionist Western. I think there were critics who they might have begun to coin the term with that film. It was Martin Ritt, one of the great directors ever. And, you know, 3 Oscars went to that film. I mean, Melvin Douglas won a supporting Oscar. Patricia Neal won Best Actress. James Wong Howe for his black and white cinematographer.
Yeah.
Photography won for that. It's an extraordinary film. And I believe it premiered, if I'm not mistaken, at the Venice Film Festival in 1963.
Yeah.
And boy, it has stood the test of time, and it's in the National Registry now. So, you know, they don't do that for everything, but they certainly did it for that film. So I'll be honored to be sort of encouraging the audience's late night viewing at 10 o'clock at the Egyptian tonight.
That is certainly going to be a fun film. And tell us about the other film again.
The other one is Gunman's Walk, which is Van Heflin and Tab Hunter and James Darren. And that was also a very interesting film of its time in 1958. And it was a CinemaScope widescreen Technicolor film. And it had all of the kind of earmarks of filmmaking from that moment in time, from 1958. And yet at the same time, the performances are just first rate. Everybody was really good. And the story is a little bit dark, you know? And in fact, Eddie Muller and I are going to be talking about it together when we introduce it on Saturday. And, you know, he's all about noir. And I'll be picking Eddie's brain about the idea of the noir Western, because most people don't put those two things together. Noir is urban, it's downtown, it's and usually black and white. But this had a very noir feel to me because of the darkness of the story and the angst of the characters and their struggles. You know, this father-son relationship that Van Heflin and Tab Hunter play, and James Darren is the younger brother. It's fraught, and it's full of anguish, and this father's desperate attempt to raise the son that he wants to raise in his own image, and the mistakes he's made in doing that, and the trying to correct those mistakes, and at the same time, I think Van Heflin's performance in that film is just extraordinary.
Now, of course, you know, Westerns have changed quite a bit. There's ups and downs for Westerns, the Westerns glory days of the spaghetti Westerns, but now, today, thanks to Taylor Sheridan bringing modern Westerns back, I mean, how do you feel of this cycle?
Well, it is cyclical. I mean, the Western is cyclical in terms of it coming back around, and it seems to have come around again thanks to Mr. Sheridan and others. There seems to be a timing to it that is kind of generational. And interestingly enough, I remember when the first Star Wars appeared, everyone looked at that and said, well, it's just a Western in outer space. It's all of the same themes. They even have sidearms, you know, but it's sort of that backdrop replaced the mesas and the cactus and the Western geography. You know, suddenly there was an outer space. Well, there were a lot of backdrops in those films that were very Western. You know, look at Tatooine, look at the desert landscape there, and other films like Dune, you know. But for some reason, the Western, its connection with American culture, and it's such an American genre. And I know that there are Europeans who have attempted to recreate that genre in their own way, and the films that Leone shot in Spain. But when you come right down to it, nobody makes westerns like Americans do, because that's us. That's our history.
Well, that's our American culture. I mean, I'm here wearing my cowboy boots today too.
There you go. I'm wearing my Navajo sandcast buckle. So, yeah.
Well, Keith, thank you very much. Let's enjoy
My pleasure. Nice talking with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.